Hey y'all, Coach Inthefight here, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the true dates of Chanukah. And yes, I am pronouncing that 4-syllable word correctly. Chanakaha means dedication. This is the feast of dedication or initiation or consecration. If we was to look at it in the original Hebrew, at least as far as back as we can find, it would actually look like that. Chanakaha. Note that the difference in calling it Hanukkah, in order to get Hanukkah, we would actually take the man or the spirit off of the end of the word and put it at the front of the word to replace the fence. And so it would end up like that. Hanukkah. And so we see that those words aren't close and how it's important to get back to the original. And so that's what we want to do in this video, getting back to the original calendar and how we determine the feast of Hanukkah. To make sure we're on board, let's look at Enoch right quick, particularly down here in verse 5 in chapter 72, where it says, "At that time it appears and becomes to you the beginning of the month." This is important because this tells us that in order for the month to start, we have to have the visible representation of the moon. In other words, it has to appear. And if we look over here at timeanddate.com, we see that there is a 0% moon on November the 20th at 12:47. Now, of course, that means there will be nothing that we could see on that evening. We would have to wait till the next evening, November the 21st, for the first possible appearance of the new moon. This was at timeanddate.com, but if we go over to the U.S. Naval Observatory, we can see it a little bit more precisely. We're looking here at 1800. I had to change the task for 1800 for the year 2025. And we see at 1800 or 6 p.m. for you civilians. In November, the first appearance of the new moon would be the 21st. You would have about 2% illuminated on the 21st. So with that, we can rest assured that we will actually get to see the new moon on the evening of the 21st. That would actually start New Moon Day, and the official New Moon Day would be November the 22nd. See, here at the Hillbilly Homestead, the moon will be 0% at 6 a.m. But again, we'll have to wait till the next day, November the 21st, for the first possible appearance. And that will be at about 6 p.m. starting New Moon Day. So the official start of New Moon Day is here in the evening on the 21st, and it will last until the evening of the 22nd. And that's important to understand because the gates of the inner court are opened during that day also. It's just like they are during the Sabbath days. But anyway, we are very interested in that day because it is the beginning of the 9th month, which is the month that we have Chanakaha. And so it occurs on the 25th day of the 9th month. That would be around December the 16th for the beginning of Chanukah, and it will last all the way to the 8th day on December the 23rd. Now it's important to get that right, because you see how we have a day of remembrance inside of that week. That's actually Chanakaha, day 7 is a day of remembrance. And that is always the case. This festival actually features this day of remembrance. And because we have an actual 8th day of the celebration, we can fully take advantage of that full festival before we would have to start wrapping everything up on the next day. If you don't have this understanding, then you'll have your 8th day celebration on the day of remembrance. So you'll be packing up your tent trying to go home during that holy day, the day of remembrance. But before I close this video out, thank you guys for tuning in this long. If you made it this far, you should consider subscribing, because we always try to focus on the feast days and the correct timing of the feast day. But I did want to note that that comet, 3I ATLAS, will have its closest approach to Earth on December the 19th, which puts it solidly in the middle of the week of Chanukah. So that's very interesting in itself, that this comet would come by not only during Atonement Day in the year 2025, but it's coming close to Earth during the Feast of Hanukkah. And I thought that was really interesting. But y'all tell me what you think down in the comment section. If you got anything out of this video, go ahead and hit the like button. But if you didn't, hit the dislike button, but leave me a comment either way, and I'll see you down there. Shalom.